Hey there, welcome to the REI Conversion Podcast, where each episode we discuss strategies and digital tools to help you launch, automate, and scale your real estate investing business. Learn how to run your investing business remotely, find out ways to automate your business to better utilize your time, and learn what other successful investors are implementing so you can get to the next step closer to your investing goals. And I'm your host and founder of REI Conversion, Jesse Kwong. This episode of REI Conversion Podcast is brought to you by Pebble, a simple and powerful app that allows you to automate and track your entire land investing. It's an app that simply allows you to centralize and streamline your entire deal flow for land investing, with features like our automated mailing system that sends out offers in smaller batches to steady out incoming seller leads, to our documents generator allowing you to generate letters, contracts, and deeds in seconds, and the ability to track and route all of your buyer and seller leads to a central place inside of Pebble. And not to mention full Zapier and REI conversion website integrations. You get back time to scale and build out your processes. With no setup fees, no setup time, simply create your free account today and get your first mailer out the door with Pebble in minutes. Head over to pebblerei.com, that's PEBBLEREI.com to start your free trial today. Hey, how's it going? This is Jesse here from the REI Conversion Podcast. Today, I'm excited to bring not one, but two guests on at the same time. It's something that we're doing for the first time here, but I want to bring them on because they have such a great working relationship, and they're popping up everywhere. Essentially, their company and their land investing company has been popping up everywhere, and I noticed them quite a bit. And so I wanted to talk about them, about just that, the power of branding and just being everywhere. It's just going to be a conversation about them and their business and what they are doing. And hopefully some of you guys will get some value about that or inspire you guys to sort of look in that sort of path to sort of making yourselves present everywhere. But before we start, I do want to let you know that if you want to get a hold of resources from templates, scripts, and guides, please, and I'm going to pull this up on the screen right now if you guys are watching, please make sure you head over to resource.reiconversion.com. You'll find things like our CRM template from one of our podcast guests that uses Airtable to email templates on presenting your latest deals that I know have been really impactful for a lot of investors who have sort of messaged me and said, hey, I used this template to the T and I got rid of one of my properties in my inventory that has been sitting in inventory for the last several months, just couldn't move it. So we've got a lot inside of there. So if you head over to resource.reiconversion.com, you can grab your free downloads inside of that resource library. You'll also be added onto our mailing list, and it gives me a chance and our team a chance to sort of update you on what's the new content and what's sort of going on here at REI Conversion. So hopefully you'll find that as a fair exchange. I hate spam as well, so we'll stay far and clear from that. So feel free, again, to pause the show. Just head over to resource.reiconversion.com, drop your name and email address, and come back to the show right after that. All right. Let's start. I'm going to bring them in. We've got, first, I'm going to turn on Amy and Amber. Hey, guys.
Good morning.
Hi.
You guys can hear me loud and clear here?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Let's start. How are you guys doing?
Doing
Good.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on the show. It was sort of a little bit to get us to finally align our schedule. So I really appreciate you guys meeting with me on a Saturday morning. And I know you guys are, you guys aren't both located in Alaska, are you?
No.
Okay, so you guys.
I'm an LP, so
Okay.
It's not the morning for me.
Okay, there you go.
It's one.
Amy and Amber, how did you guys meet, and can you sort of tell us your roles and your company name as well?
Okay. It's Legacy Land Company, and my husband and I own it. And I think, Amber, wasn't it Upwork or something like that? I was looking for a marketing manager. Or Hire My Mom?
Yeah, it was Hire My Mom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yes,
she has a marketing
really
background. We just hit it off. And so she actually does everything relative to graphic design and things like that in our company, social media.
Right on. And Amber, what sort of a background do you come from in terms of?
So I actually worked at an advertising agency. I was the media director there, so kind of had my hand in everything. And I just had my second baby. They're 15 years apart. So this go round, I thought, man, I don't want to go back to work. I don't want to go work 40 hours a week out of the house. So someone told me about Hire My Mom, and it's just kind of all stay-at-home moms. So hopped on there, and I found Amy pretty quickly. And yeah, we hit it off and been going ever since. So quite a change, but it's been really good.
I've never heard of Hire a Mom or
HireMyMom.com.
Hire My Mom. And I'll include this in the show notes in the below. And I've always used something like Upwork and Fiverr. Amy, how was the experience in terms of finding someone to work with on Hire?
We've used it a couple times, and I think we just did the basic, 7-day ad kind of thing. And I think that you have better results the more clear you are, probably helpful to the applicant as well as the employer, because, you really want to set proper expectations, and they need to know what they're actually going to be doing. So we tried to be really detailed and then have a talk with each of the applicants, and it's a great service, and I love giving work to people who would rather work from home and be with their kids. That's hugely important.
Yes, I totally get where you're coming from. I have a 20-month-old. So.
Yeah.
And Amber, did you recently have a baby yourself, or?
I'm sorry, with Amber?
Yeah,
yes,
he's only 5 months old.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations on that.
He's just a little guy still.
Yeah, for sure. So what is it that I see you guys everywhere? What is it that you guys are doing differently when it comes to that you feel you guys are doing differently from a branding and presence perspective, or is there anything you guys are doing different?
There's a kind of a funny story behind this, because I had a VA a couple of years ago that was doing a good job posting, but we weren't getting any consistency in terms of a theme. And so before Amber came on, I had gone to Fiverr and asked for somebody to submit some ideas to us. And his name's Jay, and he's actually great also if anybody needs somebody. And he actually sent us some themes to choose from. And once we picked one, I think Amber kind of tweaked it. And then we said, okay, this needs to be everywhere. So this theme is on Instagram. She's super consistent. I don't know how many, almost every day you're posting, right, Amber? And then the basically it's a similar type theme on our website for selling properties, but then also the Instagram posts are going to Facebook as well to have that same look has to be everywhere. We want people to see that as who, as just, oh, hey, that's that company again. And
I gotta commend you guys for that, because it caught my attention, and I noticed that you guys, and sort of backtrack here, when you say theme, you're talking sort of a overall branding design look, the way that you guys kind of brand yourself visually.
Yes.
And can you sort of talk about how you guys are branded visually, or graphically? Was there a certain feel that you guys were going after?
I really wanted, I know it sounds kind of odd, but I just felt like green needed to be in land, and a lot of people, really buyers, seem to like, oh, look at this beautiful green scenery in this land. And so the original logo was changed by that original VA a couple of years ago, and he had revised it to the green.
Yep.
Because when I did it myself, it was horrible. Save yourself, everyone. Get somebody else to do your logo. And then, like I said, Amber just pulled those colors, and she does such a great job creating posts that have this same feel. So she picks a photo that is going to be complementary to the theme, in my opinion. And she just does an amazing job. I don't do any of that. So I have to give her all the credit. She's the mastermind behind it all. And she can talk all about how she does her scheduling and her software and everything, because I'm like, no idea.
Well, if somebody wants to check it out, how can they sort of check out some of the graphics and branding that you guys have done before we just go any further?
Sure. Our Instagram and Facebook is we'vegotland.com. Well, the website, but it's We've Got Land.
Okay. So if they search on Instagram, We've Got Land, and they'll be able to see it there. And I've checked it out many times, and you guys have
wow.
very consistent with the stuff you guys have done on there, and that's sort of
She's doing a great job. Fabulous.
for sure, for sure. So where else are you guys present on? I mean, you mentioned that you're on Instagram, you've got a website, and you're also a REI conversion user as well. But where else are you guys sort of making yourself present? I think you just mentioned Facebook as well.
Yes, we have actually, we probably have a lot more engagement on Facebook than Instagram. We have not sold anything on Instagram yet. I'm hoping that's coming. We tried a little bit of Twitter and LinkedIn, but it's just not really effective for us at this time. So we just stuck to the other three.
So with Facebook, are you guys spending a lot of time just on posting ads, or are you guys spending a lot of time with your actual page, or do you have a group, or what do you guys sort of utilize on Facebook?
We just have a page. It's not a group per se, but we try to mix in some humorous posts just so people aren't like, oh, they're just selling property, and that seems to really help. I would say we don't really do a bunch of ads and things like that. We're trying to go for more organic traffic, and it seems to be effective. Early on, we did a like ad to get some like started, because I think everybody likes to be do what everybody else is doing, what everybody else likes, and if there's only 3 people that like it, then it might not be as credible.
Right.
But once that started, it seems to really kind of be growing on its own. And Amber can say how much time she spends on Facebook, really, and Instagram. They're kind of the same, right? So you don't really spend duplicate time.
Yeah, I've been kind of doing the same. I'll go in and tweak some things on Facebook just because of the link factor, On Instagram, it won't hyperlink anything for you.
Sure.
But, I try to also make our links really easy. So I will put them on Instagram just in case if anyone is interested, they'll have to copy and paste it, of course. But if it's an easy link, I think that sometimes they'll do it. So I really try to focus on that. But yeah, I keep it pretty consistent across Facebook and Instagram for sure.
But you're still doing your generic, marketplace posts as well to kind of grab leads that way. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, with the strategy behind Instagram, it's really interesting. You said you haven't sold any property on there. What is the end goal with Instagram? Are you guys looking, now that you know that you're not selling property on there, are you looking more or less to maybe build buyer leads on there? Drive them to a website to submit their name, or are you just simply promoting the properties on there for now?
All of that. Like the idea would be to eventually sell property on there, but it builds brand awareness. I think the really important thing I wanted to say about branding is that, you got to do what you say you're going to do, because people are going to remember that brand. And so if we're consistently posting and they're consistently seeing it, and we get comments all the time that I saw you here, I saw you there. So it is getting out there, but it's also about building your reputation. So you want to be careful to do, what you say you're going to do. But on Instagram, we'd like to sell. We'd like to build a buyer's list. We want to drive people to our website. Like Amber said, she's putting the links on there.
Yep.
So I think that it's kind of all of the above.
Right. Is there sort of, okay, let's come back to the overall graphic look of things. You got someone to create you a look for it, and then Amber, I guess you ran with it and you sort of developed it from there and started trying different things. Is that right?
Yeah. So when I got it, it was funny because like we had this basic idea, but we didn't have any of the like Photoshop files or anything like that. So I just took it and I threw it in Photoshop and was pulling the colors off, and just tried to kind of recreate it, design it, make it a little higher quality. And ever since then, I think it's been going well. Mm-hmm. So I'll just, find a great photo, get some good land photos, something like that, pop it in there. And I think it is really cool. I like Instagram. I think that it's for top of mind awareness. People may not want to buy land right this second, but it's going to be great if they know who we are for when they do. So that's really important.
And I think you're a lot of, for us land investors, like we don't have a lot of chance to communicate much with our buyer leads and people that are potential buyers. And really, I talk a lot about photos and images and how heavy of an impact that makes. And, even when you're running paid ads on Facebook, you're the biggest game changer is going to be that photo. So when it comes to your guys' photos and images, you guys plaster your photos in a great way, with a description on there, a logo on there, maybe a little line at the bottom, and then you have all your sort of points of contacts on that bottom there. What sort of software or what are you using to create all of this?
Is it Photoshop, Amber?
Oh. So I'm sure it's Photoshop. I don't do the watermarking.
Okay.
But no. I'm sure. I'm sure. We have another great helper that we'll send all of our photos to, and she watermarks them up and then throws them back to me. Awesome.
So you guys have a process where you just flip it to somebody else to do it, and they'll just put it on there for you. Amy,
so we do have I'll have to look up the name of the software and you can put it in the links. But yeah. I thought you meant for all the contact information and all that. Isn't that Photoshop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys do that, and you don't have to. I guess you don't have to use Photoshop. Other people that might be wondering, there's other program like Canva that'll make.
Oh yeah, I use Canva a lot too. Canva's great because it's free. You have to pay monthly for Photoshop, so
exactly.
Canva is just as good for sure. I like Photoshop for pulling those colors. That's part of keeping consistent. And it seems like when you use a lighter green on the internet, for some reason, no matter where you post it, it likes to kind of change it a little bit sometimes, like the RGB, the CMYK. So I'm always pulling the color to make sure that it's right and consistent. And that's what Photoshop is great for. But Canva, as far as design, is almost just as good.
Have you guys noticed a difference between doing this that you guys are doing versus not doing this? And why do you guys feel like it's so important to brand yourself? There's going to be a lot of people who say, listen, I'm here to sell land. I'm not here to make land look pretty. Like, I'm not going to waste my time with that. What's your thought to that? And I'm not saying that you have to convince them, but what's sort of, what's sort of the motivating factor for you guys to take branding so seriously?
Well, I know a very successful investor who doesn't get pictures. He uses parcel images, and it just works for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's great, and I'm kind of jealous. But I have found that this works really well for us.
Yeah.
We have, really great sales. I don't know, honestly, I feel like the buyers feel like they're working with someone. And there's also something to be said for the mom and pop shop. They like just buying this piece of land from John next door. But I feel like people feel like they're working with a professional company and they like it.
Yeah, and I think trust is another huge one, and yeah, definitely. Personally, I think branding is super important.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who say, listen, I'm not, I don't need to do it. But I would say to that is, if you're able to control certain factors like increase the trust and
Agreed.
Why not make that extra step to make that happen, right? And it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be an intense process.
Yeah.
Figuring out the process, and like you guys, are you probably just flicking off your photos to somebody else to jazz it all up and follow a guideline that you guys have laid out, and it's probably now like second nature to you guys, right?
Sort of getting a process, huh, Amber?
Yeah,
yeah. Exactly.
I agree with what you're saying about it doesn't have to be a huge thing. Early on, it sure wasn't. I mean, I don't want new investors to feel like this is something that they have to do, but it works for us now. Right. But early on, you don't have to have an LLC. You don't have to have a paid anything. Go sell on Craigslist and Facebook. So I don't want a new investor to feel like it's just too overwhelming. You don't have to. That's just later someday when you're ready.
Right, exactly. Now, how many sort of assets or images do you create for one property? Like the number of photos, the number of promotional images for platforms like Instagram? Yeah. On average, how many? Yeah, on average, how many photos do you work with for a property?
Well, I think that varies, and Amber can say more to this. But if it's just for Instagram, it's like one picture per property, right, Amber? If it's for the whole website, it depends on how many did we get from the photographer, what kind of quality were they? Some are terrible. We had a photographer send back, his thumb in the picture, his truck in the picture, we had a photographer send us the, remember those old cameras that would have the big bold yellow date and time, and that's all over the pictures. Like, it just depends on what we get, but just for Instagram, it's just one picture. What would you say, Amber, with all the images?
Yeah, and it depends on if, the property kind of flies off the shelf, because of course we don't have to do a whole lot of work if I make one image and then Amy's getting, an offer. So, I think for some of them that we've had a little bit longer, I'll go in there and tweak it more frequently and we'll adjust things. And sometimes Amy will even send out another photographer.
Right.
But, typically a couple images, and I'll create a couple, maybe for the Facebook Marketplace, a couple different ones. So
if the property isn't moving and I'm unhappy with the photos, we'll send somebody else, because I really think it makes a difference, at least for us. And I'm not as prone to do that in a really low priced, desert property. I like to keep them in inventory because they do sell.
Yep.
But higher priced properties, you do want to catch them with that, appealing image.
Yep.
And that's where the theme can also come in nicely. And it's not on every picture. We don't try to do an Instagram frame on every single picture. That's just kind of that one photo. And then the rest of them, are more like your regular watermark. And I will say about watermarks, the reason that we want our logo on them is if I paid for those images, I want that on there, just to be frank. But having said that, Zillow won't allow it. Mm-hmm. So we have to upload the ones from the photographer without the watermark, obviously.
So what's the process like when you guys get a set of photos from the photographer? You guys run them through. I'm assuming you guys color touch them up. Do you guys do that?
We don't, do we?
We don't?
No, we don't. Very rarely. Every once in a while, I will do it, but no, it's rare. I'll just go through and pick out the best ones, send them over to get watermarked, and then kind of, pick the very best to put a frame on, and then put the rest of them on the website so people can kind of scroll through and see.
Now, do you guys use sort of any scheduler to kind of get your social media and your postings out there?
Not right now. We may have to. I know we're getting so many more properties, but so right now I'm doing it all manually.
Yeah. And it might be a good idea for those of you guys that are listening, because us as investors, we don't post on social media that much. So then paying for a social media tool to help you post on Instagram might not be worth it, but you can always split an account with somebody. If somebody's listening to this, wants to leave a comment under wherever they're listening and wants to share an account, there's something like Buffer. I don't know if you guys have heard of Buffer before, but it's a great, there's not a lot of apps out there that can allow for direct posting on Instagram. So it might be something you guys want to check out that are listening, but awesome. Now, do you guys, I'm assuming you guys don't have a branding guide or anything like that. You guys kind of just roll with what you currently have, correct?
A branding guide? What's that?
Probably should at this point, but
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. Other than that, we've talked about software you guys are using, and the watermark. You guys are also sort of handing that off to somebody else to do. We talked about using Canva as a way of doing that. Is there any other software that you guys think contribute to, or app or digital, things that you guys use in terms of just being everywhere, and even that has made a big difference for you guys in your business?
The one thing we didn't touch on is Amber's creating at least, I would say, 2 emails a week, Amber, that go out to our buyers list.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we try to do a lot of emails. We'll do blogs, kind of posting. I've done a few of those, blogs kind of highlighting an area where we know we've got a lot of land. So we'll highlight the area, and then we'll send out a deal of the week every week. And so after we do a blog, we may incorporate that area for a deal. We do a lot of deals of the week, deals of the weekend, just, kind of cool sales that people can get in on. We'll send out once a month a big inventory list to our people. And we'll just I probably need to do a little more branding on those emails now that I've kind of, critiqued everything so well. But yeah, we try to keep that kind of in line too with the green and all that.
I think deal of the week is a huge, like, it's such a huge win for those that are actually doing it. And if you haven't listened, for those that are listening right now, head back to episode number 7, and we talked to Luke Harris about his strategy with deal of the week and the schedule that he literally lays down the schedule that he uses in that episode. He's got a template there that we share inside our resource library. So again, if you guys are interested in that, you can head over to resource.reiconversion.com. Awesome. And sorry, one more question is, what software are you guys using for your deal of the week or emails?
MailChimp.
Oh, okay. So MailChimp is a great piece of software. It's free, I believe, and and they're really designer focused. So I can see that really working well for you guys.
Yeah. There's another free resource for a new investor. I've used it for years, and we probably are going to switch over to one where we can actually let the buyer pick the area that they're looking for land. But for new investors getting started, just try MailChimp and get yourself going. So at least get those emails out there.
MailChimp is a great one. The only thing with MailChimp I found recently is they're really now sort of crunching down on the free features that they had. Another really good one is MailerLite. I find this is sort of a fusion between, I use ActiveCampaign, but I know MailerLite quite well. We're also starting to use it, but it's like a fusion between almost ActiveCampaign and MailChimp. So it's got that visual side of things. And it's very easy to use. So one of the things I like about it is they offer free automation. So I don't know if MailChimp really offers that anymore. They used to, I believe, but that's
when you say automation, what do you mean?
So you can have them come into a drip campaign. So if you enter in their email list, you can send them automated emails that'll come out every few days.
Okay, yeah, we want to do that for sure.
Yeah, so MailerLite offers that free up to 500 contacts. They allow you to sort by tags. You guys are using REI Land List, and a cool function I've sort of been talking about this is you can go from your property now, and there's a field there that if you're collecting an email, you can actually trigger Zapier and tell which list to kind of go to depending on which property you're looking for. We can talk about that at a later time, but
let's do that for sure. And if you're Zapier experts, we need your help.
We can definitely chat.
For
Anyways,
sure.
Guys, thanks very much for coming on. I know it's sort of a very overview topic about branding, and I think you guys have done a phenomenal job. I think for those of you guys that are listening, make sure you check out we'vegotland.com. I'll include it in the show notes below, but they've done a phenomenal job with their website, their branding, everything, and just staying consistent. And it was one of those accounts that I just noticed early on. I didn't know you guys yet, but you guys always just stuck out. I'm like, man, these guys are so consistent with what they do.
Well, I have to give you a plug. When we bought the themes, we haven't had them very long, and we only recently, Amber switched over We've Got Land, but our buying site, it was super easy for her to switch, and I just love the professional look of it. Just super happy with that, so thank you for that.
Awesome. Well, I'm enjoying working with you guys, and we'll continue to narrow down on certain things that you guys want to work on. But anyways, thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thank you.
We'll and if anybody wants to sort of leave a comment or ask any questions, you can do so in the comment below.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Before you stop this podcast or head to the next episode, I want to personally thank you for listening to this episode of the REI Conversion Podcast. If you found this helpful, we'd greatly appreciate an awesome review and rating on whichever platform you're listening to this on. And if you have 2 minutes and wanted to step it up even more and help others, feel free to share this in other Facebook groups or pages or any communities, giving others a heads up of the REI Conversion Podcast or this specific episode that may help them on their investing journey. Once again, thanks very much for listening, and catch you on our next episode.